There we go. How is everybody doing? All right, hold on. Let me get over here. We do a little bit of this. Get that going. So yes, it was. Thanks for hopping on. I wanted to do it this week because I know last week I didn't get to do it because we ran late. So I know a lot of people kind of messaged me. So I'm definitely, it's not going to be a very long night because it is 10 minutes past 9 p.m. my time. And you guys know I'm an old man, so I need my beauty rest, man. especially if I'm going to get up with some kind of type of earliness for tomorrow morning's price action. So we'll see how it gets into it, and yeah, let's dive into it. I'll go through a couple of the pairs that I'm looking at for this week, and then once I get through that, if anybody has anything, we can do it. We can look through that. Will you be doing BTC? Not really, because I'm not margin trading BTC. I'm not margin trading BTC. So there's nothing for me really to look at on BTC. I'm bullish on crypto. So that's what I'll tell you. I'm definitely bullish on crypto. So I know I don't know if anybody's paid attention to it. Ethereum made an all-time high today. So, and as a crypto miner, who mines the crap out of some Ethereum, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with, where are we at right here? Look at 46.29. Tell you what, I should be getting a payout today or tomorrow on my mining. So yeah, look at that. That thing is rocking. I love it. Awesome. For all these people that were thinking that crypto was going to be freaking a bear market, I laugh at them. I know I posted in the Aporia group too, for those of you guys that took advantage of loop ring. Yeah, that sucker back in, I don't remember exactly when I posted it. I don't remember if it was like late June, early July, but I was looking in this area here. I started cost dollar averaging in right around like the 20 cent mark. So, and I'm just a little upset that it didn't come back down into, I had another order around the 30 cent mark and I just didn't get it. But I'm up, 940% is what I saw today. That thing was just rocking. So I love it. We're getting some really good moves on crypto. It's kind of looking like exactly what it did last year, leading into December, some massive bull runs. We saw a really good pushback in December. And then January was just an all out tear. So I will be going on a Christmas shopping spree if we get it in December for crypto. Squid Games to the moon. Yeah, I'll tell you, for those of you guys that do invest in crypto, the only thing I'll tell you is, before you put any kind of money into a project, just read the white paper. The white paper itself is going to give you the basis of that project. And that to me is just one of the most important things. All right, let's get into it. I'll kind of go through some of the stuff I'm looking at. Hopefully you guys have already looked at the news. Listen, it is a red week, which for me means a lot of volatility, which is what I'm looking at. I didn't actually see what happened with any of the NZD pairs today. I'll take a look at the charts. I haven't looked at the charts since about maybe like 1 p.m. today, Eastern time. So I didn't see even how end of New York ended. But coming into the week, we have FOMC, which is ridiculous. We have FOMC and NFP the same week. So I'm very eager to see what this idiot is going to say here, Jerome Powell, what more garbage it's going to come out of his mouth to try to see what their monetary policy is going to be on the US dollar. And then, of course, the job reports are coming out. So job reports for both the Canadian dollar and for the US dollar are going to be on Friday. So, I would envision that we're going to get some small moves going into, probably Thursday. We're just going to go sideways. We'll start either distributing or accumulating some orders. And then I'll be waiting for, I typically like to pick one move on a Friday that I want to kind of capitalize on. And typically it's EU, but EU is really kind of not doing anything that I like right now. It's not anywhere near a position or an area that I want to get into a position on. So it may actually be like maybe an NU or an AU that I'm going to be looking at. So we'll take a look at it, but yeah, definitely some good volatility coming our way this week. Let's see, gold. Throw me your chart on gold. Let's take a look. Give me your analysis on gold. I'll give you mine. I mean, I can tell you gold is nowhere near something I want to take a look at for any long-term position. So we're nowhere near the areas I want to buy or sell from. Silver is actually looking pretty decent though. We've been really eyeing silver for the last couple of weeks, and like I'm looking for shorts on it. All right, so we'll start with my favorite pair, Chef JPY. I'm still holding, right? Clean distro on gold today from the SC order flow. So you see SC order flow. Yeah, I don't care about the order flow, but throw me your chart on it. Yeah, for me, there was nothing for me to play on gold. Nothing that I want to get into. But I mean, if you got something, we'll take a look at it. Maybe you saw something I didn't. So Chef JPY, like I'm still holding. Nothing about anything here is telling me to close anything out of those orders. So I think I hit like 1 to 560 on it. Just look at the past streams and it'll, you can figure out like why we took these two entries right here. But the larger order that I threw in, that hit a 1 to 100. It's currently at a 1 to 103. And then of course, this baby order that I threw in hit 1 to 568. So I'm continuing to hold. Long term, I'm eventually Chef JPY has to give us the pullback, and eventually it will. I'm still waiting here, right? These are the two areas I'm going to wait for. I will be looking for an order flow play once we get into here, right? We've confirmed the reaccumulation, which is what I was suspecting. I'll give you a little bit of advice. For me, and I talk about not playing the counter trend move, and I've held true to that this year. My profit margin has really shown that by just alleviating the counter trend move, my profit margins immediately shown a bigger impact than it did the year before. One of the key things that we were analyzing out of this supposed distribution was what? It just lacked weakness. We couldn't even trade outside of the trading range. So as soon as price came in here, grabbed some liquidity and broke the high, we confirmed our reaccumulation. With that being said, this is just order flow, right? I mean, structure is way the heck down here. This is our order flow leg. So I'm going to be sitting here. That's where I want to play the 219 minute and the 73 minute. There's some other time frames as well, but those are just the two that I'm looking at. The 219 and the 73 minute 80% is the wheelhouse that I want to get into. And if we come down into this area, specifically what happened during New York session, right? Specifically this area in here. If we get anywhere in this area right here and we start accumulating, that's where I want to jump in. Do I have a limit off it? No, I don't have a limit off of it. Nope. So yeah, nope, no limit. It's order flow for me, and it is a 7.2 pip stop. So I can do better with the schematic. So I'm going to wait for the schematic. But yeah, that's where I want to kind of get into. We get in anywhere in this like 123,600 area. We start building a schematic. That's where I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to take some buys. And again, where I personally am going to be starting to, my target is just to get to this high. I don't know how much higher we're going to go. This did hit my where I partialed out from those orders way down there. I had a 25,500. You could see was the area that I wanted to partial out some more profits. So I ended up taking it. And bear with me because I'm going to be drinking a lot of water, man, because I was screaming a lot today. What does cost dollar averaging mean? So just Google it, man. It's an investment term. It's dollar averaging your positions. So yeah, for an investment side. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have a limit order. But I will play the schematic, and I would imagine that we may get this. Hopefully, we can get some push down. We're like 90 pips. So maybe we can see that happen into New York session tomorrow. If not, it'll be the following day. But Chef JPY, definitely something I'm looking at playing. And I want to continue this move, to the upside. Overall, my targets, you go up to the daily and you'll see like what we're seeing price kind of play out of is this distribution right here. And this is why I had a target of 125,500. It's this distribution right here is what we played out of. My target is to get up into this right up here, right? That's what I want to get into. This goes back to 2015 when the Swiss bank changed their monetary policy. And we saw that in that one day, they just saw that massive jump. That all needs to be mitigated. So when you pretty much you find that candle 50 and 80% lines up here, and that distribution is right inside of that selling area. So that's what they're reaching for. That's going to be my next target area. Do you keep in mind the seasonality of each currency? No, I don't. I don't take seasonality into account for anything. Yeah, for me, just because, yeah, no, I don't. I mean, we could talk about seasonality all day long. But yeah, I don't put faith into seasonality, because what I'll tell you right now, like what's happening right now has nothing to do with what traders were trading 3 years ago at the same time. We're in a different fundamental time. So I don't take into account seasonality. Lower time frame schematic is order flow. Wait, so lower time frame schematic is order flow? Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's all order flow on some aspects. So yes. How do I identify points of supply and demand? Let me ask you this. What is supply and demand to you? So while you're answering that, yeah, so that's why I'm waiting on Chef JPY, right? That's what I'm waiting on, Chef JPY. All right, moving on, EG. I am looking for some shorting opportunities on EG. Now, we do have the accumulation. I was looking to hedge. A lot of us are in the sell from up here still, took our partials. From a top down, right? We are bullish, right? We are bullish because of this distribution still hasn't been confirmed. But we did trade into our weekly 50% of our candle, right? We have tapped into that. So I am looking for this accumulation, right? I am looking for a potential buy out of this, but I'm also in the sell, right? I got into this sell up here, and I did get into this sell up here. Got into it this morning out of this move right here, out of the 136. We've had this identified for a while. And I mean, you could see full volume candle. Essentially, it's the redistribution that pushed us into the accumulation. So we did get filled off of that 136, and we are currently in a distribution lower time frame, right? You can see the distribution. So there was light risk that went into this, and now I am just waiting, right? I'm just waiting for us to drop down, right? Essentially break this right here, which would be my break of structure within the schematic. And, ultimately kind of get a test and then just push lower. I will be looking for a hedge buy when we get down into this area down here. This is where I'm looking. So I like the 11-minute candle and that reaccumulation that mitigated out of the prior accumulation. So we do have reason, and you can kind of just see what's going on here. We just got that trend line that just keeps going higher, 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 and higher. So I'm looking for sells on EG. Whether or not the buy ends up playing out, I don't know. But this, I'm not going to fall for the, we're bullish until we actually see some bullishness. Right now, this is, for me, this could easily do this, right? This could easily do that. And then if that happens, what does this become, right? What's up, bro? How you doing, man? What are you doing on YouTube? Jump on the Zoom. Jump on the Zoom. Yeah, so we can easily become a redistro, right? So exactly, right? Exactly. So yeah. So hey, listen, I'm still waiting. So give me your thoughts on what supply and demand is, because I'm gonna kind of help you out with this, because I know deep down I think you'll know the answer to this, but I want you to work it out. Like what what is supply and demand? And don't overcomplicate it. I mean, it's a just give me your lamest terms answer. Can you check AU markup? Yeah, man, we'll take a look at AU as well. AU's on the list. We'll give it a look see. What am I looking at, bro? What do you get marked up? Yeah. All right, so that's EG. That's what I'm waiting on. Any ideas on the daily bias on NU? NU, I'm bullish on the supply and the demand. Wait, what? Huh? You're looking at the supply and demand. What is the supply and what's the demand? What do you got? Supply is selling pressure in the market, and demand is accumulation buying pressure, right? And who creates the selling? And what do you mean by selling pressure? Let me ask you this: what do you mean by selling pressure? Because for me, supply and demand is sell orders and buy orders. It's not, there's no pressure involved in that, right? It's supply. A supply point is where sell orders have entered the market to short the market, and a demand area, right, is where buy orders have been injected and to long the market. Correct? Everyone asked about supply and demand won't give me a straight wait. Everyone. Yeah. So I mean, follow me with this, right? So a supply area is where selling orders, right? Short orders have come into market. Wait, is it true market orders can only push them? Is it true market orders can only, what do you mean by market orders? Is it true market orders can only push the market? I have no idea what that question means, man. So anyway, real quick on supply and demand. So, right, a supply zone is where sell orders have entered the market, and a demand zone is where buy orders have entered the market. Correct? Everyone everyone understand that part? So now let me ask you this: what sell orders and what buy orders are the only orders that I'm concerned with, that I care about? Like buy limits and sell limits only slow the market, but can't push the market. No, yeah, none. There's, I'll tell you right now, there is no buy limit, sell limit, or market order from a retail perspective that pushes the market anywhere. So I guess you're correct, but it's not market orders. Institutions, right? So institutions are the only orders that we care about, right? Because institutional orders are the only ones that move the market. So let's think about this. How do we identify when an institution gets into the market or creates a move in the market that we can identify? What's the only way that we can see that? What is the only way that we can see? So I'll give you a hint, right? Did an institution get into the market here? Imbalance? No. Imbalance? No. Nope. Takes liquid? Nope. No. No. An institution didn't get in here. It didn't. Yeah, an institution got in there because of the schematic. Absolutely. Right. It filled their orders. Yes. Right. How do we know? How do we know when an institution gets into the market? It creates a schematic, right? They're the only ones that can create the schematic, right? Now it is always followed by a massive move, because that's the last area that their order got filled, right? So how do I identify supply and demand zones, right? If I only care about institutional supply and demand, find your institutional schematic, right? Find your schematic. When I came over here and I was looking at, well, shoot, what do I want to play out of? Well, I have a massive reaccumulation and I have another reaccumulation, right? An institution got into this market right here. This was the manipulation. They manipulated price down so they can push the market up, right? Breaking this high. I had pretty good confidence that they were going to come back and mitigate that move, right? And how do we know they mitigated it? Because look what they did. They came perfectly back into the point, to the pip that I was looking at, and then they left, right? Institutional orders got behind this after the mitigation. So where is my supply and demand? Find your schematic. You know where institutions got into the market. If you know where their buy and their sell orders are sitting, that's all you need to know, right? That's your supply and demand zone. Does that make sense? Pre-consolidation. But what's consolidation? I mean, I remember consolidation when I used to trade retail, and people used to always tell me to stay away from consolidation. But, you know, I mean, darn, I've done pretty well with consolidation, I guess. I mean, we took, what was that buy on Thursday we took at a EU? Yeah, we took this buy right here out of EU. And I know a lot of people would have told me to stay away from consolidation, but now I didn't take the 80%. I know some of you guys took the 80%. I took the 50%, but out of that schematic right there, we took it out of the 50. And that was, for me, it was what was it, like a 1 pip stop. And then some of the other guys took a 0.4. But yeah, for me, consolidation is not like, I don't have a term of consolidation. Are we building a schematic or are we not? Right? Are we creating a redistro or an accumulation? So yeah, EU was clean as crap, man. It was beautiful. You know, some of these guys caught what do they catch, man? Off that 80%, they caught a 1 to 200. And if the one I caught was a 1 to 90 on it. And then same thing with like US dollar, Swiss franc, that was on Friday's price action. If you guys didn't take it, I definitely would back test now while the lower time frame's there. On EU, there was a really nice buy on EU Thursday New York session, and US dollar Swiss franc Friday New York session was the same thing. Like this right here was just a super clean entry out of this type 1 schematic right here. You know, this push right here, this was 80%, comes right back in there. And then it was out of the 5-second time frame. This was the entry that some of us caught, this schematic right here off the 50% of that push. So that was a 1.4 pip stop. And that's, I mean, you don't get a cleaner schematic than this coming. This was in the 80% of that move. But yeah, so going back to like the question, supply and demand zones, for me, find your schematic that created the new high, the new low. And that's where supply and demand is sitting, so let's see. Yeah. Good. Yeah. I'm always preaching, stay away from consolidated markets. You're always preaching, stay away from. Yeah, but so I'll tell you, okay, I give you this. There are such things as a consolidated market. I will say that, right? Because there's a difference, right? Let's talk about US dollar Swiss franc, right? There is a difference between, let's go up to like the 4-hour, right? So my intraday structure, right? When we look at this right here, this price action, that's not a consolidated market. That's an accumulation. There was purpose behind this. Same thing, right? Like when we look at this accumulation here, right? This accumulation here, there was purpose in that, right? Purpose inside of this accumulation, not a consolidated market. You want to know what a consolidated market is? Right here. Let's go. Everyone always asks me about GCAD, right? Here's a consolidated market, right? Let's look at the 4-hour on GCAD here. This is a consolidated market, right? This thing has been consolidating since 2019, We've been consolidating for 714 days. And I think it's even longer than that. Oh yeah, it is longer than that. Look at that. This is a consolidated market. Okay. Since 2016, it's just been sideways, no movement. Right. So I will say this, there are such things as consolidated markets. This crap, that's a consolidated market. Nothing I want to deal with GCAT. That's why it's not even on any of my lists. All right. So yeah. Wait. Let's see. The issue to understand Wyckoff schematic, understand supply and demand. Now you're telling me to spot the schematic. Yeah. Spot the schematic. Yep. Find the schematic. You understand. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for those of you on the call that, like we talk about this all the time, right? Isn't it easier when you're following market cycle to find the schematic and then understanding what that cause and effect, what that schematic has done dictates whether or not buyers or sellers in there, right? Like, let's, maybe this will shed light on it. Is every accumulation an area where buyers have come into the market? Let's see what you got, bro, on US Swiss franc. Yeah, but not every accumulation is not where buyers are coming into the market, right? Can you unmute me for a minute so that I can, yeah, sure. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me raise your hand and I'll find you, bro. Let me see.
All right, I'm on mute now.
Oh, there you go, bro. Go ahead.
All right, blessing. All right, so good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Oni Rose, right? So when I first got introduced to Wyckoff through Mike, you always said that it's not every schematic is valid or something of the sort. You get me? To find supply and demand, understand the schematics. You get me? So that has always been my issue. My inability to spot supply and demand has been my biggest issue as it relates to Wyckoff. Yes, and like when I just started learning Wyckoff, I was trying to spot schematic everywhere, every single way. You get me? And it caused me to miss a lot of trades. You see me? So I'm interested in learning supply and demand. You understand what I'm saying?
But here it is, bro, right? How many times have you seen this up here? How many times have you seen this, right? Follow structure, find your schematic, and then ask yourself, what the heck did that schematic do, right? Yeah, dude, listen, look at the chat. They are traps. Exactly. Not every schematic means something, right? Here's a great example. I think I dropped this in my mentorship group this morning. We were talking about EN, right? Let's look at EN for a second. Where do I have? Maybe it's on the 15-minute. Yeah, here it is right here. Look at this, right? How many people fell victim to this shenanigans right here, right? Accumulation. What did that accumulation do? Where was it? Nowhere, right? It's crap. This is not a demand area. Remember this, right? If there's anything you could take out of this, every accumulation does not mean that buyers are coming into the market, and not every distribution means that sellers are coming into the market, right? If I'm selling the market, and let's take, since we're on EN, right? Let's take this EN trade for a second. Okay. We can see this massive accumulation going on here, right? Does that mean that I'm going to be looking to buy this market? Heck no, right? Heck no. What it means is this. It means one of two things: that the institutions that created this distribution and created this redistribution now need a reason to get price to come higher so that they could sell from a premium price. If that's the case, that doesn't mean that buyers came into the market here. It just means that just like every, like every smart money concept that you've ever learned where they need to buy to sell and sell to buy, it's the same thing. Institutions are putting small buy orders in here so they could push the price higher, right? Essentially trapping buyers. And then what do? Then they just continue with the move. So EN is a great example. I'm not looking for any buys on EN. Why would I? Right? Like when we look at our top-down analysis, EN is bearish, right? From a higher time frame. From an intraday, we're bearish. You know, we broke this low here. You know, we've got our distro, we've got our redistro, and then, you know, obviously now we're getting this accumulation in here. And then when we look at like a lower time frame, I mean, what do we see on the lower time frame? I mean, we're being maintained from up here, this redistribution. So for me, it's not always just find the schematic. It's, you know, how many times have I thrown it up here? You know, it's these three
Awesome
things,
thing.
you know, find out, ask yourself, what the heck did it do? You know, what did it do? If it didn't do anything, that there's no point in me getting into this, you know, like I said, what was the purpose of this right here? You know, here's your creek, buyer's trap, you know, oh crap, you know, we took a buy out of here, we hit stop loss. So, all right, look, we're going to try it again. Oh crap, we took another stop loss. Oh, nope, we're going to get it this time. Nope, stop loss hit. How many, I mean, look at my arrow. What do you think I'm thinking is going to happen? I mean, just follow the market. 1, 2, 3. I'm guaranteeing you this thing is going to come down and sweep that low, right? They're not going to, you know, it's one thing if this was in a point of interest that made sense, but look to the left. Where are we, right? Where the heck are we? Nowhere where I want to take a buy out of, right? If there's going to be a buying opportunity, it's going to be out of this, right? This is, when it comes to cause and effect, this reaccumulation pushes in that high. All right. All right, hold on. Let me catch up with these chat. All right, let's see. Yeah, exactly, bro. You got it, man. Sellers can push price higher to sell high. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So just if there's anything you take from it, is just because you see an accumulation doesn't mean buyers are coming into the market, right? You always have to ask yourself, where are they accumulating orders? Why are they accumulating orders here? You know, if there's something to the left that created a new high or a new low, and we can identify that as a supply or demand point based off of cause and effect, then boom, that's one check mark, right? And that makes sense. Okay, I understand why we're getting, you know, a schematic being built in this area, and then go through the protocol of entry, taking off of that schematic. But just a garden, you know, I mean, how many times have you guys heard me say, when someone throws a chart in the group, right, and it's a 5-minute chart and there's an accumulation, my very first question is, what's happening to the left? What's your higher time frame POI? Because if there's no higher time frame POI, I could care less what's going on the 5-minute, right? I mean, you guys know I make a living on the lower time frame, right? I'll take a 5-second schematic, I'll take a 5-minute schematic, I don't care. But before I get down to the lower time frame, there always has to be a higher time frame POI. There's got to be an intraday reason, like an intraday supply or demand point, as to why it's going to take me down to a lower time frame. All right, that alone has kept me out of crappy trades, out of stupid trades. You know, like when I go through, and there's plenty of guys on this on the Zoom right now that, I mean, when I've gone through and given you, like, you know, let me look at your journal. All right, look at these trades right here. Why do we take them? You know, and the first question or the first answer is always going to be, well, it's always going to be one of two things, right? It's going to be, you try to play order flow, or, you know, you didn't have a higher time frame point of interest where that schematic was being built, and it ended up, what, like accumulation ended up being a redistribution, you know? So those are one of the key things that you've got to, you know, pay attention to. It's not just, oh, let me find an accumulation. Oh, we break, you know, the internal structure or whatever people call it, and then I'm going to take the buy. I mean, you can, if it works for you, it works for you. I can tell you that, you know, in my 4 years of trading and the, I don't know, thousands of charts I've back tested and traded, it doesn't work for me. So, I mean, just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for you. I'm not going to say, you know, don't do it. I'm just going to tell you that, you know, if you're having trouble, right? And you know, this is, I'm not like singling somebody out, but if you're having trouble with taking trades out of every schematic you're seeing, you know, and you're journaling that, and your journal's telling you you need to change what you're doing, right? Don't do the insane thing and just keep following over and over and over, right? So how can we identify, you know, what needs to be changed? Well, just pay attention to the schematic. Where's it building that schematic? If you can't find the point where it, you know, a reason why that schematic's being built, there's no reason to take it. That's why, you know, when I marked up this chart right here, you know, none of this, you know, I know a lot of people, oh, look, EN's making a schematic on the 15-minute. Yeah. Why are you on the 15-minute? What's over here to the left that tells me, oh, let me look for a buy? Nothing, nothing. So hopefully that kind of, shed some light on some of that. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of understanding. If EN wasn't in a demand zone, would you play the order flow? So what I personally play the order flow. So let's look at it, right? So EN is bearish higher time frame, bearish intraday, bearish lower time frame. So my question is this: if we are in a bearish market, right? If we're in a bearish market, and bear with me because I'm doing this with my mouse. If we're in a bearish market, what would be the reason to look for buys, right? What would be the reason? Is it because the technicals are telling you to look for buys? Is it because you see, a break of structure that creates a understanding that buyers are coming into the market? Or is it because you have seen that EN has sold off and you naturally think that it needs to pull back? Which is it? Because I'll tell you right now, if it's the latter, if you're like, no, we've sold off, and like this RSI is telling me it's overbought or oversold, you know what that is? That's emotions. And I don't trade with emotions. I don't, right? How many people, let me ask you this, how many people did you see in the last 2 weeks say that all the JPY crosses were selling, that they're looking for sells on the JPY crosses? Let me ask you, how's that going? How's those sells on JPY going? Because what? Because people think that we're overbought, right? Price needs to come down. I agree, price needs to come down. Doesn't mean I'm going to sell it. I'm just going to wait here patiently for the buy, right? I'll wait here. Listen, you guys know I'm a patient man, right? I waited 150 days for this damn trade right here. 150 days right there. 150. I'll wait another 150. I don't care. I got dozens other trades to look at before this thing comes down here. So, that's the one thing I would say. So for the answer to EN, no, I'm not buying EN at all. I'm not counter trend trading it at all. So, okay, let's see. Higher time frame demand zone is the only thing. Higher time frame. Yeah. Wait. Yep. If it accumulates in the middle of nowhere. Yep, exactly. If it's in the middle of nowhere, it's either going to be a trap and turn into a redistro for an opportunity to sell more, No, I mean, overbought and oversold. I mean, that's crap that, like, honestly, that's stuff that people just try to make themselves, oh, look, like same thing like this RSI. Well, just because it's here, it's over. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, well, look what happened. I mean, imagine if you would have taken this buy here. Yeah, you would have caught a little bit of profits, but what's your stop loss? I mean, I saw the other day, I saw some guy with 150 pip stop loss and he was up 70 pips. That's not even worth my risk. That's nothing I'm going to write home about. So yeah, cool. All right. So hopefully that sheds some light. All right. So anyway, Chef JPY, right? Chef JPY, I'm still looking for the buy out of it, right? For me, it's going to come out of this area here. I've got my alert around the 123,800 level. We get a schematic in here. I'm pulling the trigger, right? I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to take it. And again, I'm just going to be a little more tolerable with my targets, right? Because, I don't know how much higher this is going to go, but I know one thing's for sure. There's absolutely no weakness in the Chef JPY market, right? So everything that's being played is just continuing order flow to take it higher, and higher. So any luck? I got one, man, but it was a common. So, whatever. It is what it is. My son likes reading them though. Yeah, the Swiss franc is a safe haven. Yes, it is a safe haven, but so is the JPY. So yeah. So if someone buys heavy in Chef JPY, does that affect all Chef? And no, it doesn't. No, it just affects this right here. Just affects that. And you mean 1 million lots, or you mean $1 million worth? Because you won't be able to fill 1 million lots. Yeah. Like, why won't you be able to fill 1 million lots? Because there's, I mean, we talked about this, like, just look at the order book, right? In order to fill 1 million lots at 123,700, that would mean that there has to be somebody that wants to sell 1 million lots at 123,700. And Chef JPY, first of all, is a very low volatile market. It's not EU, right? So there's not going to be a lot of orders sitting in that area. So you'll have to split it up. You know, you have to sit there. If say you had $1 million that you wanted to put into this market, you would have to go through either another brokerage and get those orders filled, or you would just have to sit here and, you know, piggyback off of a bunch of different positions and try to get filled. Oh wait, let's see. Working to think of all time frames as I'm still working to think of all time frames as higher time frame intraday. And I'm still working to think of all the time frames as higher. Okay. Is there a specific amount of liquidity of contracts at each pipette? Yes, but it's all based on the instrument, right? So like Euro USD is in the Forex side, currency side, is the largest, right? Volume traded. And then you'll have some like those exotics, like, NZD Chef probably is down there at the bottom, so like some of those just like really, really, small exotics have small volatility in there. But yeah, there's, depending on the contracts that are sitting there within it, that's how you have to fill the buy and sell, so like, let's just throw a number out there, right? Let's just say that at 123,900, there is, 1.3 thousand contracts. And then at 123,901, there's 1.1 thousand contracts. And at 123,902, there's 850K contracts, right? So that would mean that if you wanted to, and let's just say that these are sell contracts. So if you wanted to fill your buy order at 900, you would only be able to fill 1.3 thousand contracts worth. You would have to come up to 901 to fill another 1.1. You'd have to come up to 902 and fill your 850. So, if you wanted to get the best price available at 900, you're only going to get that amount worth. All right. So hopefully that kind of sheds some light on how it works. So yeah. It looks like it makes it easier than following them all individually. It looks like it makes it easy. Okay. Yeah. Whatever works for you, man. When a pair is at all-time highs, how do you know what distro is going to play off? Because there's nothing to the left. Right. Exactly. There's nothing to the left. So I guess my question would be this: if we're at all-time highs, are we in a bullish market? And if we're in a bullish market, what do I care about the sells? So I don't, right? I don't. Why though? Because of the available liquidity on the, what do you mean? All right. Yeah. So AJ, I don't know what the question was. Why though? Because of the available liquidity on the table. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. There's always, in order to move the market, somebody always has to be a buy and somebody always has to be a sell, right? Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's move it on. We talked about EG, right? Talked about EG. I am interested to see what we do in this area here. If we do push back down, I will be looking for a buy. I will be looking for a buy specifically in 2 points. Definitely this is the area I want to get into, but you have to understand that this is that order flow, right? This is the order flow leg. So if we do come down here and sweep this Asian lows, it's going to be in this area right here. So those are the two areas I'm going to kind of be sitting on and waiting to see what we do. But right now I've got this boxed out. I need to see what we do. Do we either push up and I'll look for the sell up here, or do we come down? Right. And if we come down, I'm going to be looking for a hedge buy. Okay. Do I follow fundamentals? Yeah, I follow fundamentals. Yep. But just remember, fundamentals are just the fundamentals are manipulated, right? Like if you think for 1 second that the institutions don't know ahead of time what the jobs report number is going to be, just go back and back test every NFP. What happens leading into the release? There's always an accumulation. There's always a distribution, so, all right. Yeah. Can we do all of the Zoom sessions this time? Can we do all the Zoom sessions this time as it's best suitable for Asian students since it's coming? Bro, I'll be honest, Mahi, no, because it's not conducive to me, man. Yeah, like I like to do it at 7 p.m. Just because like, yeah, it's because it gets pretty late for me. Yeah, like right now it's 10 p.m. Eastern. And if this goes into like, yeah, bro, I am an old man. Absolutely, dude. I am an old man. Yeah. So I'll tell you this. Yeah. at least when I get off of a 3-hour Zoom call on a 7 p.m. call, it's 10 p.m. and then I can kind of go and relax and get ready for bed and then go to sleep, man. But if I start a call at 9 p.m. and it's 3 hours long, I mean, yeah, we're running into some wee hour of the mornings for me, and that just doesn't work, bro. So yeah. Will the call ever go back to 7 p.m.? Yeah. So so just an update. My daughters, they won tonight. They are in the state semifinals. Saturday, we have our regional finals game. So the winner of that game goes to the state final four, which I think will be the following week. So every year around this time, yeah, like if you guys, those that were on the Zoom calls last year, I just kind of like postponed the September and October, November calls because, Tuesdays is high school volleyball night, so the football guys got it on Friday, the basketball players do it Tuesday on Mondays and Wednesdays. So Tuesday's volleyball night. So I gotta do that. But yeah, so we're almost done with it. What age group? They're high school. So they're they're teenagers. I mean, my oldest daughter is a junior, so she's 16, turning 17. And my youngest daughter, who's playing varsity with her sister, is 13. So she's a middle schooler, but she's on the varsity team. So yeah, no, they're kicking butt, man. Where do you recommend starting with the content? Man, I don't know. I know. So you're in Trade House, right? So if you're in Trade House, I definitely suggest jumping onto like Zach McDonald's Go Live, and he's got his favorite sessions. I would start getting into that. I'll tell you, like, I'm not like a YouTuber. I don't spend hours and hours doing videos and like editing them and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I just kind of throw these up there for people to jump on and watch, but I would start with reading Ruben Villamosa's Wyckoff methodology book just to kind of get like a baseline knowledge of what's going on and understanding like anatomy of schematics and why things happen. After that, I would probably say watch my Wyckoff intro video, which is like 3 hours long. That thing's old as crap. I think it's like almost like 2 years old now. But I would start with that as well, because I kind of throw in like some base. I remember one day like a bunch of people just asked me to like do a Zoom call, and I just recorded it and threw it on there. So that's what it was. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Cool. Yeah, Zach's pretty cool. Actually, for those of you guys in IM, Zach's having a baby soon. So I'm going to be covering his go lives when he's on paternity leave. So we'll dive to, some more stuff on the go live sessions as well. But yeah, let's see. Are those pairs the only ones what pairs? What pairs? Cool. Let's see. Are you going to be, no. No, but yeah, Zach, yeah, me and Zach are pretty close though. It's yeah, we do it. Let's see. Tips for someone about to take their first prop firm challenge. Build yourself a buffer. Take prop, like, so, if you're doing your prop firm, right? And you get, let's say you catch you're doing whatever you risk, let's say you risk $500 and you catch a 1 to 10, you're up $5,000, right? Take your partials, build a buffer, put some money in the bank. That way you have a buffer. And just remember this, you want to always finish in profit, because you'll get that free redo. There's no difference. If you're doing your FTMO challenge and it's a 10% profit target, right, on a 100K account, and you need to make 10K, the guy that finishes $9,999 and the guy that finishes with $1, there's no difference, right? So, you can violate your risk management rules a little bit more when you have a buffer. That's something I always tell people, like, if, you're up 5K, instead of risking 250 on a trade, maybe risk 500 on a trade, maybe risk 700 on a trade, because that you have $4,999 to work with. So that's what I would give. And especially if you feel you're ready, look back at your journal. Your journal is going to tell you when you're ready for the challenge, right? If you've been demo trading for 3 months, and on those 3 months, you've consistently made over 10%, yeah, you're ready, knock it out of the water. So, yeah. Am I going to go back to go live? Wait, no, I'm just going to cover for Zach until he's back. So, yeah, the FTMO or the prop trading. I mean, for me, I prefer prop trading because I can hold over the weekend. I can, I don't have to worry about stupid rules and stuff like that. So that's just me. I know a lot of people are like, well, prop trading, it's a new firm. And listen, at the end, what happens if tomorrow I log into my prop trading account and they're gone, deleted off the internet? All right, whatever. I just lost the last 2 weeks of trades. That's it. Who cares? That's the whole reason I do a prop firm, because there's no liability on my end. What happens? Everyone talks so highly about FTMO. What happens if, because where's I think FTMO is like in the Czech Republic or something. What happens if the Czech police do a raid and take their servers? All right, what's everyone going to do then? So you gotta understand, you're a contract employee. You're working month to month. You don't have a contract with them that they're guaranteed to pay you for 5 years. It's a month to month contract. That's all it is. No, 1 to 20 is horrible. Yeah. 1 to 20 is horrible. I'll tell you right now, I have on my futures account, I have 1 to 50, and I struggle a lot with getting into trades on 1 to 50 because of the leverage requirement. So, all right, let's move on, because otherwise my wife's going to kick my butt for being up too late. So EG, that's kind of the game plan with EG. I know EU. So this is what I was talking about. EU, man. EU is nothing. This is just like jump up to a higher time frame. And what do I want to see out of EU? I want to see if we can, and this was the whole idea for me to get into these buys here. I want to see if we can get into our slingshot area, or if we can get into lower time frame structure, right? That's all that's happening. And we've been in here for 2 weeks, right? This is 2 weeks of just stupid price action of doing nothing. What prop trading do I recommend? I mean, I necessarily won't, I'm not going to give you like, I trade for FTMO and I trade for the prop trading firm out of Australia, TPT. I can't tell you about anything else because I've never used them. I know people always ask me about like funding talent and all these other ones. I've just never used them. So I can tell you, I've never had issues with FTMO other than some of the payouts, because they have to pay you out in like Skrill and stuff like that, and it takes forever. And I can tell you, I've never had an issue with TPT. All my payouts go right to my PayPal account. So, it's for me, it's that's TPT. Yeah. Just type in the prop trading firm and it'll pop up out of Australia. So MFF. All right. Yeah. I've never used them. So I can't tell you, man. I don't know anything about it. I mean, I'll tell you this, a prop firm's a prop firm. You know, I mean, when you sign a contract to be a trader for them, and if they violate it, just know what you have to do to go through a legal recourse if they violate the terms of the contract. You know, if it's something you're okay with, then do it. So, yep. All right. So anyway, so EU, man, there's just nothing for me to do with EU. You know, this reaccumulation here looked pretty good. I wanted to get a sell out of here. Instead, we took a sell out of, I think it was FOMC price action. You know, so there was nothing really for me to get into. And now I'm just waiting for this low. If we could take that low, right? If we could take that low, then the distribution that occurred up here is going to be my point of interest. You know, but all of this is just noise. It's all order flow. So, you know, that's why EU for me, other than being in the cells, the two cells that I'm in, if it wasn't for me being in the cells, I would have this on my secondary list. Same thing goes for GU. You know, GU, I wanted to see us trade into, I was looking for price to come up into this area here. We've distributed, right? We did have a proper distribution, but the distribution hasn't done anything yet, right? This reaccumulation needs to get violated. We need to take that out before I start looking for sells out of here, because otherwise we're just following order flow. And if you follow your market cycle order flow, what do we have, right? We have an accumulation into a reaccumulation into a distro. If price accumulates here, it can go higher, right? So there's nothing for me to play on GU as well. You know, where do I want to play GU? Well, this is structure, right? That's your structure leg. This is the SC. So we did come into the area that I wanted to look at. It just didn't come into the exact area where I wanted to take the play out of, you know. If we take that low, is that the extreme? No, it's going to be order flow. It's not the extreme. But that reaccumulation didn't break structure. Which one? On EU? What are you talking about? Why would you look for sells if it violates the reaccumulation instead of the extreme? Oh, on GU? You're talking about on GU? On GU? Yeah, so let's look at it, right? Let me ask you, intraday structure, we're bearish, right? We can, right? We're bearish on intraday. Are we bearish on lower time frame? Yes. What would create bearish order flow? A break of this right here. That would invalidate the last area of demand. So if we break that, now I'm looking at a bearish order flow. So I can go ahead and look for sells. Yeah. You know, it would be different if structure was bullish, right? Then I wouldn't be doing that. But because you know, lower time frame is bearish, right? Intraday is bearish. I would be looking for that order flow play. So until we come into structure. So I use any other fib levels other than 1580? No, I don't use any other fib levels. Nope. Are we bullish on order flow? Yeah. Lower time frame order flow is bullish right now. Well, yeah, we're bullish now. Yeah. Right, Monty? Because look, we traded above. We traded above this right here. So order flow is bullish. And that's why, like, when we look at it, you know, follow the market cycle, redistro, accumulation, reaccumulation, the distro, right? So what are we expecting now? We're expecting an accumulation, right? If that accumulation turns into a redistro, you know, that's where I'll be looking for that continuation move. So with only a slingshot. What do you mean with only a slingshot? Yeah, I only use 50s and 80s, man. That's the only fib I use, 1580 for everything. Yep. All right, so that is GU. Okay. And we'll just see. We'll see what happens, right? Because Going on to my primary list, some of the things I'm really liking, CAD CHF. You know, we've been targeting this for a while. And what I want to play out of on CAD CHF is, so we could see that we're in the distro. We can also see that we have this massive creek right here, right? I do not want price at this point. I don't want price to come up here. I do not, because I feel that if we do that, we're going to turn into a reaccumulation. So the last point of supply that I do want to get into is this redistribution right here. So, you know, everyone saw the Canadian news that came out last week. We saw this manipulated move. So this redistribution, right, which was an accumulation turned redistro, is what I want to play out of. Right, so everyone can see this is the redistribution. So this is where I want to play out of. And I specifically want to play out of the 27-minute candle, which is this push right here. So you go full volume candle, 27-minute. That's the full volume candle. So that's what I want to play out of, right? That move right there. So if price can get up into that area, that is where I will be looking for my sell, right? Because not only will it mitigate our redistro, it's going to mitigate the news candle, right? Why not the most recent lower high? The most recent lower high, this one right here. Because talk to me about what's in that lower high. Yeah, some kind of distro. What else? There you go. What's maintaining that high? What's maintaining that high? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It'd be, I'll tell you right now, like if Frankfurt would have swept that high and gave us a type 1, yeah, I would say I'd play out an order flow out of that. But nope, I ain't playing out of that right there. Negative. Absolutely not. So for me, what is our leg? Our leg is this right here. That's our leg, right? Because this is just another redistro, right? This is an accumulation that I'm sure a lot of people thought to take a buy out of here that didn't end up working out too well. So, you know, this is just a continuation move. This is also a continuation move, right? This is the order flow leg, but like we talked about this morning, right? Why is this such a key area for me? Because if I, and you could see my line right here, if I measure out this to this, do you see how this is the 50 and this is the 80, and the area I want to sell from is in between that? So that gives me confluence, right? That's the confluence that I want to see. It would mitigate this candle. It would mitigate this candle by coming back up and distributing out of this area here to come lower. So Frankfurt is 2 to 3. Yeah, it's an hour before London. So yeah. Yep. Yeah. So on CAD Chef, you know, that's what I want to see. And then of course my targets, right? My targets are to send this to a new low. You know, if I can get this up here, you know, obviously I'm going to partial out when we get into this reaccumulation right here, because this reaccumulation did cause that lower time frame break, right? But that's it. I mean, all it did was just send the distribution into prior supply. So I'm going to be looking to take this. I'll take partials out of this. I'll take partials when we get down into here. And then what I really want to get into is, you know, this right here. I want to get down into, this, right? So we're talking on CAD Chef, we're talking, you know, about 400 and so pips. That's what I want to do. Let's see what you got. You know, what else do I have here? US dollar, Swiss franc. So you're looking for a buy on US dollar, Swiss franc out of this low. Oh, we'll look at that. Hold on. Yeah, no, I agree. Just for me, so I guess here's my first question for you, man, Brandon. How come you closed this trade here? Why didn't you take this down to this low? Was this New York price action? Was that New York price action? No, right? It was? Okay, okay. So you caught it then. Yeah, you caught it. Awesome job. Awesome job. Yeah, we caught both well, I only took one entry, but I know a bunch of the guys caught it. And then you had that accumulation here that made that new high, came back, reaccumulated. They caught that entry there, and then caught a third entry in that reaccumulation to go higher. So it was actually a really nice play on US dollar Swiss franc. Yeah. So, but going back to it, did you journal that emotion? Because listen, if you're bearish on this sucker, I mean, that's my target, taking it to that low. Same thing, like why take it to here? You just played into this. If you've back tested enough, that price is going to push down and make, take your partials, but, send this thing down. Yeah, I'll tell you this, ACAD, until ACAD starts moving, I'm not doing anything with it. We've been just stuck in this nonsense range for a while. But yeah, I agree with the sells. I agree with the sells. Yeah. Very good, man. Good job. So anyway, that's what I got on CAD Chef, right? I'm just going to be waiting. Caught 2 entries on you, Chef. Yeah. Good job, Tim. Good job, man. Yeah, that Friday price action was awesome. And then you saw like that 5-second, we talked about it in the Discord, that 5-second entry, man. That thing was like a 1.4 pip stop. Beautiful entry. US dollar Swiss franc closed a daily imbalance. A daily imbalance. Talking about this thing right here. I'll give you my thought on imbalances, right? I think a lot of people put way too much importance on an imbalance, right? I'm more interested in the mitigation of price action and not so much in the imbalance, right? Imbalance is, listen, when I talk about my checklist, right? When I talk about my checklist, imbalance is on there, right? Hold on. Right? Imbalance is on there, right? But it's only a checkbox. It's not like, oh, I'm going to take an entry at imbalance, or price needs to come mitigate that imbalance. No. Right? Why does price need to come down in here? Because I need to mitigate out of the orders, right? The orders are the candles, not the imbalance. So, I mean, if you're an imbalance trader and it works for you, great. But for me, like it's something that I saw when I was just trading smart money, that I put way too much emphasis on imbalances, and it wasn't getting me the desired reaction and desired profits that I wanted to see. So yeah. Let's see. Can you explain why you think it'll turn into reaccumulation even though we've only jumped the creek? Because it'll be a major momentum shift. That's why. Yeah, it'll be a major momentum shift. And I don't want to see that. When we have that creek, now in order for me to take a buy, right? If I was looking for the buy, I would need the jump of the creek, but I'd also need the confirmation of the new high, right? But if we jump the creek and don't make that new high, then you have to ask yourself, what's the intention of the market? What are they trying to do? And I don't want that to happen, right? I want it simple, right? This is simple. Just keep mitigating out of those positions. Keep shaking this down, right? Luckily you took 50. Yeah, no, it did. And remember when I talked about US dollar Swiss franc, I asked everybody, what did it do? Right? All it did was just tap right back into the supply area, tap right back into supply. And what did I say this morning? I said, we broke this low. We're probably going to tap right back into this and just keep dragging this lower. That's why I'm looking for that entry, So we talked about Cat Chef, but here's US dollar Swiss franc. I'll tell you right now, I've got a limit order set right here. This for me, this accumulation is what we're coming for. So I'm waiting on it. I've got my limit order set. I'm going to be looking at there's a couple things I'm going to be playing out of. The 249 minute is the full volume candle that I'm looking at right here. And it lines up with the 44 minute, this 44 minute candle. But if you go down to the 5 minute, you'll see a micro schematic. And I'm going to be taking it out of the 50% of the 5 minute. So you've got a type 1 schematic right here. That 5 minute candle is what I want to see mitigated. So could we go into the 80%? Absolutely, we can. I just don't want to miss it. And the 50% of that 5 minute candle is a 2.2 pip stop. So I'm okay with that. So NZD CAD, yeah, throw me your NZD CAD chart, bro. We'll take a look at it. I have nothing on NZD CAD. So if you kind of give me your idea of what you're looking at, I'll kind of give you some thoughts on it. So yeah. So taking the liquidity, then continue loader wouldn't be a play. For me, no, not on Cat Chef. Like I said, what's the reason for them to take that liquidity? So I don't want to jump the creek. I don't. That would be a break of order flow, right? And now I would need to wait for price to break order flow again. So yeah. But on US dollar Swiss franc, that's what I'm waiting on, right? I'm waiting right down here in this accumulation. All right. What's the other one that I'm waiting on? ACAD. I mean, I'll just tell you, like, yeah, you could see, like, I was looking for that distro at an ACAD, just never got it. Never got what I wanted. And now, obviously I'm looking for shorts. I'm just, nothing interests me whatsoever out of any of this here. Do you always look or wait for Asia highs or lows before? No, I don't. But I will never take an entry out of Asian price action. So unless it builds a super clean schematic and it's in a point of structure. Yeah, I don't necessarily need the Asian highs and lows to get taken. I can just tell you that past experience tells me that they typically sweep them to gain, for as a liquidity sweep. It's the major liquidity sweep, taking out those weekended buyers and sellers that bought or sold during Asian. Yeah, so I'll be honest, like I'm just not, I'm not interested in trying to make or force anything on ACAD. I would be, and you can kind of see, like, I'd be looking to see what we do if this thing just kind of collapsed and we came back up. Well, hold on, my mouse kind of slipped. And we came back up, like maybe into this area here, and we gave a really clean distro, then I would play the distro, but there's nothing that I'm setting order limits on. Yeah, throw me your chart on it. What about it? I mean, I'll be honest. I think the move on that is done. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, cool. All right. AJ, I'll tell you what, I was looking for buys on AJ out of this last reaccumulation, and price decided to come right to my order or to my alert and kind of do its thing. So I'm really not interested in pushing too much of the envelope with these. I want to buy, right? Like when we look at this chart, where do I want to buy out of? I want to buy out of here, right? This is the main cause. This is what caused that high there and caused intraday BOS. you know, so this is what I want to see price do. This right here, I'm not interested in trying to sell this. You know, we've got a distribution that's in phase B, right? We've got a 1 drive, a 2 drive, you know, maybe an ugly 3rd drive, you know, so I want to see this distribute, you know, and come lower so that I can buy it from this area here. When I buy it, I'm going to take it up higher. So that's just what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on that. And same thing with the NJ, right? NJ, same exact chart. You know, what do? We broke intraday structure here. We broke lower time frame structure here, meaning, you know, this is now what kind of is maintaining lower time frame. It's also intraday slingshot, right? This massive reaccumulation. And this is what's maintaining our intraday structure right there. So, you know, this right here is my first point of interest that I want to look for those buys to send this up here. All right. So NJ and AJ, I'm kind of just paying attention to, you know, eventually getting into an area where price can give me a better position to buy from. I'm not interested in trying to counter trend trade this. You know, again, like look at the daily chart. What part, let me hide the drawings for a second. What part of this chart tells you weakness, right? Because you want to, when you see weakness, you want to sell it, right? When you see strength, you want to buy it. What part of that tells you weakness? There's none, right? There's absolutely none. So no limit order out of the spring of NJ or AU, no limit order out of the spring. What spring? This one down here, right there? No, yeah, for me, no. There's nothing I could find with confluence. So on NU there is, but not on NJ. Yeah, there's nothing like when you look, oh geez, goodness. Yeah, for me, there's let's see, hold on. What did I have? Yeah,
it's like someone's like that, just standing there in the dad.
There we go. Take care of that. All right, hold on. Yeah, so like on NJ, I'll give you an example. So like on NJ, we come over here. And this is the issue, right? So like I've got it marked out here. Just nothing too significant. Right? You can see I don't know if I can go lower time frame, but anyway, you could see here was the Frankfurt move at London Open. We broke that high. We came back to 80%. So this is the area I'm looking for. If we come back into the intraday, it's going to be here, right? So nothing that immediately I want to throw a limit order on. You know, I don't have anything that's as clean to do. You know, now NU, I've got a limit order out of lower time frame structure, right? NU, the distro confirmed, great, send that sucker down. You know, and you know, like when we look at my first area that I want to buy out of is going to be out of this right here, this reaccumulation. So there's no limit order because it's a slingshot on lower time frame, but in lower time frame, absolutely. I'd have this, I'll tell you right now, I'd have this marked out. I'd come down here and give yourself a look at the type 2 schematic that we have here. But more importantly, I'd have a look into, can I go 1 minute? Yeah, I can. I'd have a look at this type 1 schematic here. And this is where I got my limit order. So I have it sitting at the 80% of the 12, 11, and 8-minute candle, which is our spring. You know, this is definitely something I'd have a limit order. NJ, where we've already mitigated that extreme. And now I got to play out of like a reaccumulation that I don't have a tremendous amount of confluence where I can say, yep, X marks the spot. Yeah, that's why. So in what situation would I set a limit versus waiting for a schematic? Bro, there's about 150 different scenarios. So yeah, I could tell you the easy answer is if it's structure, I'll set a limit. If it's coming into an intraday, lower time frame, or higher time frame structure point. If it's not, I can tell you if it's not structure, I do not set a limit, right? And then I'll set a limit out of a schematic confirmation. But yeah, there's all kinds of scenarios in which I'll set a limit, split my risk, have to wait for a schematic, all that stuff. Can you just talk about how NU and AU divergence since NU broke? Will AU break as well? Well, that's why that's why for me on AU, I'm not tremendously concerned or looking for significant sells on AU, right? Yeah, I mean, we look at NU, right? And we can see what's going on, right? Go to a higher time frame. Everyone agrees that NU is bullish, right? We're bullish on the higher time frame. Now, would I have loved for us to come into that reaccumulation right there? Absolutely, right? But we know what are the facts. We know higher time frame, we're bullish. Well, what are we on the intraday, right? So from the intraday side, we can see, let's go to the 4-hour because you can see the whole market cycle. From an intraday side, what do we see? We see a distribution, right? We see ultimately it's a redistro, but you have a distribution in here that pushes in a low, and then we have an accumulation, right? And now that accumulation has done what? That accumulation has made a high. This was the test, right? And now what are we expecting? An LPS, and we have our creek, right? We have our creek. So for me, I'm expecting that, right? I'm expecting that. You know, why do I feel that this was a valid accumulation? Well, I mean, shoot, I don't know if you guys have done this, but put a fib from this high to this low. And did we not trade into the 80% of that damn fib of that spring? So for me, this was a valid type 1 schematic. Now, can it turn into a redistro and shoot lower into here? Absolutely it can, right? Like we could potentially see this, right? But we know that higher time frame is bullish, right? We know right now that the intraday is bearish, right? Well, not the intraday, I'm sorry, because the intraday is being maintained from over there. But we can see that the intraday order flow is bearish, but structure is all bullish on this, on NU, right? So I'm looking for that strength. That's why for me, NU, there's a limit order here. AU, I don't have a limit order, right? All I have here is that we are maintaining out of this. This is our lower time frame. But when we go and we compare, you know, I showed you what NU looked like down there, right? This is what AU looks like. I mean, NU definitely cleaner, definitely cleaner. So thoughts on ICT's content? Never looked at it, bro. Never saw it. Can't tell you, man. NU is higher time frame bearish. Higher time frame bearish. Why are we higher time frame bearish? You're talking about because you're talking like way higher time frame. You're talking about this, man, right? You're talking because we had this distribution that broke this reaccumulation that came into this redistribution and then pushed in that low. Is that why you're saying it? Let's see what you got. Hold on. All right, no, you're gonna have to explain this to me. So where are you bearish from? Because this chart right here, you're showing me that you're bullish. You're showing me that you're bullish from here. That's your leg, right? Is that your leg? So you're bullish. You're just in a complex pullback. And it looks like you've broken order flow here. Monthly mitigation still hasn't happened. Monthly mitigation. Monthly mitigation. What do you mean by monthly mitigation? Give me your, what are you talking about, like monthly mitigation? Deb, this looks bullish to me though, bro. This looks bullish to me. This looks like you broke that, and this is what's maintaining. The monthly demand candle. So have you been waiting all this time? Oh, look at that. We traded into the 80% of it. Have you been waiting this whole time to get into a trade on NU? You've been waiting since 09? Yeah, I'll tell you this. Like I don't disagree with you. when you come to these higher timeframes, yeah, but I don't trade on these higher timeframes because I'm not waiting for price. After we broke this high in 2012, I didn't wait all this. I mean, I'm a patient guy, but I'm not that patient. I didn't wait for us to do that. But that is pretty cool. I wonder if you find the candle that did this. I wonder if this tapped exactly 80%. I'm curious. I may do that one day when I'm bored and see if I can find it. But to me, we're bullish. Yeah, to me, we're bullish. To me, when like I said, I would have liked to have tapped into it, but when we invalidated this redistribution and we invalidated this redistribution here, we pushed in that low and we broke that. That to me was the bullish move. And then when we took out that distribution, right? So we've taken out all of this supply and we did that there. So when we did that, this is now my higher time frame bullish leg. And that's why I was like, this to me is the reaccumulation. So is this. This is the actual slingshot. But this is the reaccumulation, the continuation play. So I'm bullish higher time frame on it. Yeah. So that's I mean, that's just like I said, that's my opinion on NU. I mean, if you're bearish on it, sell it. I'm personally looking for the buys. I'm going to be taking this sucker. If we can get it down here, I'm going to be looking to send this up and breaking that intraday, or I'm sorry, that high that's up here, that distribution. Specifically, since, when we're looking at it from this angle here, like I said, and we've got our creek set. You've got your creek right in there, and we've jumped our creek. So ideally, if this ends up turning into a reaccumulation, I mean, I might even look at playing out of the shakeout just to take it up to this high to confirm this massive reaccumulation. Okay. So that's what I'm looking on NU. So NU, dollar Swiss, CAD chef are on my list that I'm looking at. What was the other one that I was looking at? I'm trying to think what I was looking at this morning. Hey, I know we were looking at SPX this morning. Did it ever do anything? Did it ever come back? I don't think it did. Son of a gun. I don't think it did. Yeah, no, it didn't. That was a shame. I took a small loss on US 30 this morning on a buy, and that thing ended up freaking rocking. I think it hit my stop loss by like 10 points and then went for like 180. It was a pain, man. Gold and silver. I'm bearish on silver. I got nothing. I got no outlook on gold. I mean, long term, I'm bearish on it. But I mean, you can see we've broken this low. This is just one massive distribution on silver. And you kind of look at what, let's go to 30-minute. You can kind of see what we did here. This is just order flow, but there's a really ugly distribution here that pushes in that low, right? And this was a news event that came in and mitigated perfectly into that. So order flow for me on silver is bearish. We've invalidated the reaccumulation. And do you guys remember what time frame this was? Hold on. So the 20, I know it's the 23-minute candle is full volume candle that I have on silver where I'm looking, but it's what happened in here that's the key, right? Like we come 1 minute, and you should be able to see the distribution in here, right? We had a micro, and this is where I'm looking, right? But now if we go, I think maybe 15-second, let's see. Yeah, so this is where I'm really focused in on silver. This is where I want to get into. So we have a type 1. And what I want to play out of is this type 1, but also this super duper one right here. Like we go 5-second, and you'll see yeah, I don't know if you could see the distro in there. I don't know if I can get 1 second anymore, but I've got it in my journal. but this is, I'll tell you right now, I will play out of that. I will play out of that. So it'd be a 7 pipette stop loss on silver. I wonder, can I get 1 second? Oh, I can. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's your 1, 2, 3 drive. There's your UTAD. So that's what I want to play out of right there. But that's essentially what I'm playing on silver. I'm waiting. We've got for me, we got the confirmation. We broke lower. I'm just going to be waiting now to see us get back up into this area. We get back into that area, I'll play it. I'd even prefer that we break this low and then we can come back up into the extreme. And that'd be even better of an idea for me. And, obviously long term, I'm looking to take silver down into, I want to get silver down into here, right? Into this. That's where I want to get silver into. So gold, gold is a mess for me. There's nothing to play on gold. Gold for me has been sideways for 146 days. We've been just trading in this crap right here. So I do want to get down into the 1500s. That's where we're coming to, right? But there's nothing for me to play on gold. So I'm not even wasting my time with it. We've seen complete market cycle. There was a really decent buying opportunity out of that. We failed to break this reaccumulation here. But now, now we can see that we have a 1, 2, 3 drive distribution in here. And I'm just waiting to see, do we trade finally below here? We trade below here, then, my attention will be up to look for sells on the mitigation to go lower. But until that happens, gold just sits on my list until it gives me something. Others, from a retail perspective, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of buyers coming into the market on the retail side that is going to, maybe cause a little bit of speculation that this is going to try to long itself. But, even like these larger hedge funds and stuff, I haven't looked to see where the 50 EMA is at. Let's see. Where is she? Oh, wait, no, I don't need volume. I want 50 EMA. Let's see. Where are we on the daily? Yeah, even on the daily, look at this, we're sideways. So there's nothing I want to do with, absolutely nothing I want to do with it. Yeah. The Atari chart. Yeah, so what do you got? What are you going to do with it? I don't own any of it, so I don't have an outlook, but what do you want to do with it? Why is this your spring, I guess, is the question. Yeah, I'll tell you this, it looks like you already traded below your reaccumulation. That would have been my buy point. That was the cause, I'd look into this to see if that was your mitigation of whatever this was. Yeah, I'll tell you this though, what's that percentage drop in this? That looks like it's come from 32 up near what, like 90 cents. That's a significant drop. Yeah, that's a massive significant drop. Was AU on standby for you until it gets to lower prices? No. Well, to lower prices for buys, yeah. There's nothing I'm going to do. There's nothing I'm doing on AU until we get. So this is the first area I'm going to look for a buy on AU right out of this reaccumulation in here. This I think it's London price action, but hold on. Yeah, when we get into this London schematic, we get into this actually New York, it's New York. When we get into this New York price action right here, I'll be looking for a schematic to take this higher. And if we don't, if we trade lower, this reaccumulation right in here is going to be my first point of interest that I'm going to look. So I'm going to continue to play that. There's not, outside of that, there's not really anything else I want to do with AU. I mean, you can kind of see the AU was, 2 weeks, we were just sideways on this thing. It's finally broken out. We finally got a distribution. You've got your 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, and then you finally got the UTAD right here. Right. So it's, yeah, I mean, we're in distribution, hopefully this sends it down to an area where it'd be looking for a buy, but yeah, I would prefer NU. I'll be honest, NU is a way cleaner price action. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of what I've got on my plate for this week. I'm really focusing on some of these JPY crosses. I've got CAD Chef is the big Canadian one that I'm going to be looking at. And then, NU is something I've got on the plate. GU, EU, they're like secondary, not much I'm going to be looking at. Chef JPY, I'm going to be looking for that continuation play. Yeah. So that, I mean, that's kind of what I got on the plate. That's what I'm looking at. That Atari chart, I'll be honest, man, like I said, what is your what broker did you have on there? Euro Next. Yeah, like what? Euro Next. It's a French stock. Is that what you got? Goodness, man. Wow. What, yeah, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like bro, if this is the chart, I want nothing to do with this, I'll be honest. If this came out, if this at IPO, when it came out in 09, if it rallied all the way up to 11 and then dumped, this is just a pump and dump. And you can see it just keeps trying to push higher. This was the accumulation here, push higher. It's just not getting anywhere with it though. Yeah, I mean, if you got some money you're willing to risk on it, I guess. I mean, this is the area I'd be looking right in here. Out of that reaccumulation right in here. But I don't know enough about it to figure out like if it's worth an investment opportunity for me. Yeah, I'd want to know why this thing has been dropping off for the better part of 2 decades or a decade. Yeah. Yeah. So that, I mean, that's what I got on my plate, some of the crypto stuff as well. I've definitely got a ton of stuff that, Solana hit an all-time high. Beautiful thing. What's the other one? Solana. Oh, Loop Ring, man. Loop Ring freaking tore. Lusco Coin did the same. Lusco Coin making all-time highs. Listen, all you guys that I threw this in the Discord, man, this thing is now up almost 700% from our buys back in June, end of June. So this thing just keeps rallying, man. Rallying, bro. Dude, I'm happy about this. This was a good one. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, that's what I got on the plate. If you guys, if there's anything else you want to take a look at, we'll do it real quick. But if not, I'm gonna call it a night. It's creeping on at 11 o'clock at night, and this is way past my bedtime. especially if I'm going to try and get up early tomorrow. And we'll see what New York session brings, or pre-New York as well, because I may give pre-New York a little look, see if I can get up. It's only Wednesday tomorrow morning, so obviously Thursdays, Fridays are my big days. But other than that, if you guys got nothing else, I'm going to call it a night, man. Awesome. You got it. Listen, guys, enjoy, and I will catch everybody later. Have a good night.